Hey there, I'm WFOY News 2's Ben Briscoe. As this winter storm moves into our area, all week long our team's been here to help get you prepared. Here's some of the best information they learned to help you ride out this winter storm.
1 minute the lights are on, the next minute the winter storm knocks the power out. Warmth is now the focus, so put towels along the bottom of your doors and your windows to keep cold air from sneaking in. Then you're going to want to go through your house and you're going to want to make sure every inside door is closed. And now it's time to pick your command center in the storm.
What we want to do is we want to create kind of a microclimate inside the house, a warm room, if you will. That's what we're looking to do. So think about this. However your home is designed, there are going to be rooms that are on the exterior of the home, maybe bedrooms or sort of things, and there's going to be a room that's more center, maybe the family room.
During the day, open up the blinds in your warm room and let in as much sunlight as possible. At night, cover the window with a towel or a blanket. For extra warmth, set up a tent inside your designated warm room. A blanket fort, it can work just as well too. That smaller area really helps lock in the body heat.
And if you do start to get a little chilly, do a little light exercise, step up and down, whatever the case may be, get the blood flowing. That will warm you up as well and help warm up the room.
You're going to need to layer up inside that very cold house, and we're looking at 3 different layers. We need an outer coat, a sweater, and like an inner base, like an undershirt or long johns. You want to avoid cotton for this base coat because it will soak up your sweat. It's going to make you more cold. Bitter cold temperatures. You're sure to hear people tell you, hey, you need to let your faucets drip so you can protect your pipes. But it really all depends on if your water is hooked up to the city or not. If you're on city water, let those faucets drip, but you need to pick the right one for the hot drip.
We recommend to turn on a cold faucet to let it drip, and then to find the fixture furthest away from the water heater and turn the hot water on a slight drip at that. That way you have water moving throughout the entire house.
For example, if this is your house and the hot water heater is in the garage on this side of the house, you'll want the hot water drip to be at the farthest faucet. In this example, it happens to be in the kitchen, but it could be in your bathroom. Now, if you're on well water, dripping a faucet really isn't a help.
It's going to do harm. For the fact of being like on a septic tank, it's not made to hold a continuous stream of water. Stepping your cabinets up does help unless the heat get to it.
Everyone seems to agree, whether you're on city or well water, opening up the cabinets to get more warm air into the pipes is a help. And just in case a pipe does burst, every homeowner should know where their main water shutoff valve is. That way you can actually stop the water flow and prevent further damage. Cold mornings usually mean you're warming up the car. You know, back in the day, it was because the car needed it. But cars from this century, they don't really need that.
Automakers today say let your car run for maybe 30 seconds before you take off, because the oil in the car, the way that it works better when it's moving between all the parts, and it does that better when you're on the move.
For your comfort, the quickest way to feel warm in a cold car is to put on those heated seats. Experts say the heat-to-body connection is much faster than trying to heat up the cabin of your car. And don't be surprised when you see the low tire pressure indicator light come on.
When it gets cold, the rubber in your tire and the metal in your rim, they contract at different paces, and that lets air out of your tire. So, and it is very, very bad idea to drive anywhere on a tire with too low air. You leave yourself open to the possibility of a blowout or other tire damage, and in winter, you don't want to be stranded on the side of the road.
Along with the low tire pressure, car experts estimate that freezing weather drains your battery power by 30 to 60%. 'Tis the season for people to get new batteries. The good news is, if you actually get the car started, your battery naturally recharges as you drive. You know, when it looks like this outside your window, and chances are this is what you're going to see this weekend, all you can do is focus on keeping the heat on. 2 Wants to Know is looking at what you can do now to keep your heat working right.
Go to room and make sure all your vents are open. There's no furniture sitting over your vents. Keep the doors in each room open so that we can circulate some airflow. Changing the filters is a big key too.
It almost seems too simple, but really, when you do your supply run, buy new air filters. Those dirty air filters make your heating unit work a lot harder. You don't have to buy the most expensive air filters, but think of this.
if you buy a filter from the store and you can put sugar or salt on it and shake it over the sink, if it falls through it, then imagine what it's going to do to any type of dust or debris. It's just going to pull right through it. So, you know, we try to use analogies like that in front of our customers.
Next, check your doors and windows. Don't let the warm air that you're paying for inside leak outside.
2 things you can do at the hardware store: weather stripping and caulking. So thinking about your windows, your doors, if you feel any cold air coming in, you know that you need to get some caulking and some weather stripping in order to prevent that warm air from going outside and that cold air from coming in.
Adding an extra blanket and lowering the thermostat 10 to 15 degrees overnight, it can cut your heating costs up to 10%. But if you can't stomach that much of a change,
Turning your thermostat to the lowest comfortable setting. Every degree is going to help bring that money back into your pocket. The second thing you can do, I have blinds right here. If you have curtains at home, closing them at night in order to keep that warm air in, and opening them during the day when it's sunny to let that warmth come on in.
well, let's say you can't get the weather stripping or the caulk. The easy alternative, roll up a towel. Keep that cold draft from coming in the door jamb. The governor declared a state of emergency and advised folks, hey, don't be on the road unless it's necessary. So is you being at work necessary? Well, it depends. This is a fact. A general state of emergency does not get you excused from work.
Your employer can require you to come to work. The fact that a state of emergency has been declared really doesn't make any difference. When that changes, though, is if they place in travel restrictions or they impose a curfew.
The North Carolina Department of Labor has an entire section dedicated to adverse weather and employers. In the FAQ section is this. It specifically answers if the governor declares a state of emergency, can your employer make you come to work? Here's what it says. The decision to stay open or to close for its employees to remain at work or to leave early, or for its employees to report to work or not during adverse weather conditions is entirely up to each individual employer.
It's a good time right now before it's, Sunday night at 11 p.m. It's a good idea right now to figure out what your options are and figure out what your leave is and do you have leave and so on and so forth. What you don't want to do is tell your boss, I'm sick, and then have posted on Facebook some picture of you skiing on a toboggan standing up or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Bottom line here, North Carolina is an employment at will state, which means an employer could fire you for not coming in even during a state emergency. But why let it get to that point? It's worth having a conversation about the situation as early as you can. The state of emergency means that the price gouging law is in effect, and price gouging is when a business unreasonably raises the prices of goods or services to profit from that state of emergency. Now, here's the tricky part in all of this. In North Carolina, the law says you can't charge that unreasonable amount, but it doesn't define what unreasonable is. It depends on how much the seller bought the item for before they charged you for it. The state has to do an investigation to figure all that out, which is why if you suspect price gouging, you need to make a formal complaint. You'll need to give them information on the seller's location, the cost of the item, and when you bought it. Let's give you these examples. If for some reason the gas station has a supply of gas and they bought it at this really low price, then the state of emergency happens and the gas station sells that very same supply at a really high price. That can be considered price gouging. But if the station buys the gas from a provider on, let's say, Monday for that really low price and sells it to you for just a little more, then the state of emergency takes place and everybody knows that there is a state of emergency. Well, then the station has to buy a new supply of gas and it's at a higher price. They pass the cost on to you, but it's in line with the supply price. That's not price gouging. Of course, all you see is the difference from here to here, right? So this is what I want you to do. Again, if you suspect price gouging, make a report. It's all online. We'll have the link in our web story to make it easy for you.